What's going on, Guardians? Avatar here, and welcome back. Today, we've got an insane Void build that is going to shine next week in episode Heresy, but let me tell you, it is still top tier right now. So if you're ready to dominate in-game activities, but also be prepared for the next season, you're definitely going to want to check this build out. And of course, we got to give Waffle a shout out from our Twitch community who put this build together and threw it in our build submission channel on Discord. And that link will be down below. So if you think you have the best build, hop into that Discord and let us know. But by the end of this, you're going to see why this Void build is going to be your go-to for next season. First up, let's break this build down by starting with our super. We're going to be rocking Ward of Dawn. Now, I know it's not the same since Weapons of Light got decoupled and you only get it with Saint's Helmet, but that doesn't matter for this build because the real magic here is in the bubble itself. Being that indestructible dome that keeps you and your allies safe, and inside that bubble, you gain a Void Overshield. Basically, this build can allow you to play very, very aggressive if you want to, even in Grandmasters. Now, for the Barricade, we're going to be opting to go with Rally Barricade. Why? It's faster cooldown, creates a small barrier, but it also lets you peek over the top, and not to mention, it boosts your reload speed, stability, and range. For our jump, we're going to be going with Catapult Lift. It's always my go-to on Titans. Just, for me, it gives us better mobility, especially playing on mouse. Now let's get into our melee and our grenade. For the melee, we are going with Shield Throw because, one, it ricochets off enemies and surfaces, and it grants you an overshield for each hit, giving us yet another way to gain that overshield. And when it comes to grenades, I always like to recommend using Vortex. Why? Because it pulls enemies in, makes it super useful to take care of a group of red bar enemies, but also it helps pull enemies out from around cover. Now, let's get into the aspects. First, we're going to be using Offensive Bulwark. You're going to have an overshield when you're in your Ward of Dawn that is going to allow your grenades to recharge faster and your melee range and damage to increase. Plus, melee final blows will restore a portion of your overshield. Next, we're using Bastion. This one is utterly amazing. Basically, when you cast your Barricade, you're going to get an overshield for you and your allies, making you even more tanky. And it also, another reason why we're using Rally Barricade with that shorter cooldown, you're going to be constantly able to have an overshield up. Fragment-wise, these are going to help push that build to the next level. Echo of Undermining gives your grenades the ability to weaken targets, meaning more damage output for you and your team, as well as Echo of Harvest because defeating weakened targets is going to create an Orb of Power. You'll see why this is going to help out in a minute. Echo of Starvation, picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power is going to grant you Devour, which basically is going to help you keeping your health topped off. And since we're going to be creating a ton of Orbs of Power, always having an Overshield, feeling like we're always having Devour up, it has great survivability. Lastly, we're using Echo of Instability. Defeating a target with a grenade grants volatile rounds to your Void weapons. Next, let's talk about weapons. Just like we're using a full Void build, this is going to take advantage of multiple Void weapons. First up, we're using Graviton Lance, because Graviton Lance has got to be one of the best pulse rifles for in-game activity, and it's been that way for a long time. If you don't have it, it's super easy to get. Go get it. The Cosmology trait allows enemies to explode and spawn Void projectiles that track nearby enemies. The second shot in that burst rips a hole through space and time with infinite range. There's a reason this thing has been top tier for a while now. Heavy weapon, we're going to be using a Void machine gun known as the Hammerhead. The synergy with this build is utterly fantastic, and the Hammerhead is perfect. And it helps with Overload champions next season. So, lucky for you, it's easy to get. All you have to do is go into Onslaught if you haven't done it already, and you can actually attune the Hammerhead from Zavala, making getting the perfect roll a lot easier. For this season, we were using a Heritage shotgun because it paired really well with anti-barrier and great damage output when Oscillation was active. But for this build specifically, we are changing it up a little bit. Sorry, Waffle. We are using Tenacious Mastery. So being able to take care of barrier champions is always going to be a good idea. And this does come with chill clips, so my hope is that it's going to be able to not only take care of barrier, but also unstoppable at the same time. Hell, can't go wrong with that, right? Now, let's get into exotic armor. We're going to be using Armentarium. I know, it's a wild choice, but this exotic is still insane because it's going to give you an extra grenade charge to weaken enemies and create an Orb of Power. So this means double grenade, double the fun. Plus, grenade final blows are going to create that Orb of Power, And you're going to create an orb of power because of the weakened effect, meaning each grenade kill, you're going to be able to generate 2 orbs of power off of 1 grenade. Don't ask me exactly how it works, but hell, it's just science, okay? We're going with it. Now, for the new artifact perks that are coming next season, we're going to be focusing solely on the mods that complement our Void playstyle, as well as whatever else we want to top off in there. Already talked a little bit about it. We're going to be using Overload Machine Gun. You're going to be able to use that Overload ability to take care of those champions with your Hammerhead. Next up is going to be Volatile Marksman. This perk is going to be very key for applying volatile rounds with your Void weapons, boosting damage, but also making you just more lethal. It states rapid weapon final blows and rapid Void hits are going to grant you volatile rounds. This artifact can also be boosted, and it's going to grant you class ability energy from those volatile detonations, giving you your barricade back even quicker, meaning another overshield that much faster. Next, hold the line. This is going to state while surrounded, machine guns are going to gain increased reload speed as well as stability, but those final blows with that machine gun will heal you. So basically, you're going to have like a free version of heal clip. Not too bad. And finally, we're going to be using Void Flux. Defeating weakened targets with Void weapons is going to apply volatile to nearby targets, and powerful targets increase the radius of that volatile explosion. Now, let's talk about mods. In terms of what we're going to be doing, we are going to be focusing on resilience, recovery, and discipline for key stats to focus on for survivability, as well as getting that grenade back even faster. For our helmet, we're going to be going with a Void Siphon as well as the Stasis Siphon to generate orbs on those weapon kills. And you know, more orbs, more super, more fun. For the arms, one of the key ones here is going to be Ashes to Ashes. This one can be a game changer for you because it's going to give you bonus super energy on grenade kills. And pairing in that with Armentarium, you're basically going to get your super back twice as fast while you're using 2 grenades and Ashes to Ashes. Next up, Heavy-Handed, you're going to generate orbs on melee kills. Basically, another way to get your super back even faster. And of course, speaking of fast, we always want to go with Fastball. I hate grenades that don't go far or fast, so toss on Fastball. Those grenades you throw are going to go faster and further than before. Next up, Impact Induction. Causing damage with a melee reduces your grenade cooldown. Chest mods always go with damage resistance that match the activity you're doing. Hell, you can toss an extra ammo reserve mod in there if you want to. Now let's get into the legs. Just like the last build that we did with, we always want to go with Recuperation, Better Already, and Absolution. These mods are going to help you regenerate health as well as reduce your ability cooldown when you're picking up orbs of power. In our class ability, we're going to be using Distribution to reduce all cooldowns when we use our class ability near enemies, and we're going to add a special ammo finisher in that as well, just to help our special ammo stay up as much as possible. And then Bomber to reduce our grenade cooldown when we're using our class ability. Basically, as you can see, we're building into a ton of orbs of power and a lot of grenade energy with this build. So that's it. This Void build is going to feel unstoppable in Episode Heresy. It's going to have great damage output, fantastic survivability, and tons of overshields as well as grenades. Plus, you're going to have your bubble up constantly. And with the artifact mods boosting your power, it's going to feel like you can crush anything in your path. So what do you think? Will you be trying this build this upcoming season? Let me know in the comments down below. Hell, if you have any tweaks or suggestions, drop those down below too. And if you want to chat more about builds, head over to our Discord and drop one in the build submission channel that we've started growing over there. Link of that is in our description. If you want to come by and hang out with us live, we stream on Twitch Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Link for that will be down below as well. But until then, folks, I will catch you guys in the next one.